In 1948, a nation was born, and the world expected it to die within days. 5 Arab armies, one tiny newborn state, outnumbered 100 to 1, with no air force, no tanks, and barely an army to call its own. Yet somehow, they won. How did Israel, just hours old, defeat 5 invading Arab nations? This is the story of courage, desperation, faith, and one of the most improbable victories in modern history. May 14, 1948. In a small hall in Tel Aviv, David Ben-Gurion stands before a trembling crowd and declares the birth of the State of Israel. Outside, there are no fireworks, only the rumble of approaching armies. Within hours, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Jordan, and Lebanon launch a full-scale invasion. Israel has no organized army, just a collection of underground militias known as the Haganah, Irgun, and Lehi. Their weapons? Old rifles, homemade explosives, and a handful of smuggled guns. Their soldiers? Farmers, students, Holocaust survivors who had just arrived by ship. The Arab world was confident. One Egyptian commander boasted the war would last only a few days. Few believed the fledgling Jewish state would even survive the week. The world watched, but no one came to help. The United States imposed an arms embargo. Britain, the former ruler of the land, quietly sided with the Arab Legion of Jordan. Israel stood alone. With no tanks, the Israelis turned farm tractors into armored cars. With no air force, they scavenged for aircraft parts across Europe, sometimes assembling planes in secret workshops. Every bullet counted. Every night was borrowed time. But there was one thing the Arab armies underestimated: the will to survive. Jerusalem, the heart of the new state, was under siege. The road connecting Tel Aviv to the city was cut off. Supplies ran out. Children starved. Water was rationed drop by drop. In a desperate gamble, Israeli engineers carved a secret mountain pass, the Burma Road, through the hills, using shovels and bare hands. Trucks crawled through the dirt under enemy fire, carrying food, weapons, and hope. That road became Jerusalem's lifeline and symbol of the nation's unbreakable spirit. Then came the unthinkable. Israel got an air force. 4 second-hand planes, smuggled from Czechoslovakia, flown by volunteer pilots from America, South Africa, and Europe. They called them the Mahal, the volunteers from abroad. On May 29, 1948, these 4 planes took off and changed history. Against all odds, they stopped the Egyptian advance on Tel Aviv. It wasn't just a battle in the sky, it was a turning point in the war. The war raged on for months. Every inch of land was fought for, lost, then won again. Villages were destroyed, families displaced, and both sides suffered deeply. But Israel's fighters adapted quickly, turning chaos into strategy. They used intelligence networks from their underground days. They coordinated attacks, rerouted supply lines, and outmaneuvered larger armies. Slowly, the tide began to turn. By early 1949, the war was over. Israel stood victorious, but scarred. Over 6,000 Israelis had died, almost 1% of the population. But the nation had survived, and the borders of modern Israel were drawn in blood and perseverance. For the first time in 2,000 years, the Jewish people had a homeland defended by their own hands. How did a nation so small defeat 5 mighty armies? Maybe it was strategy, maybe it was luck, or maybe it was something deeper, a faith that survival itself was destiny. The 1948 war wasn't just a military victory. It was a declaration of existence, a story of the human spirit refusing to be erased, and a reminder that sometimes the smallest light can shine brightest in the darkest hour. This was 1948, the birth of a nation, the survival of a dream, and the miracle that changed history forever.